Welcome to the Get Loud Radio Lounge. I am Carlitos from Youth on Record, and today I am here with Brad and Andrew from the Barr Brothers.
Yes.
How are y'all doing today?
We're doing great. It's a gorgeous day in Denver.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been like that, like all month.
We've heard. It's like it's kind of a guilty joy you guys are getting out of this incredible weather.
Yeah.
When there should be snow, but we'll take it.
Yeah, you should see pictures of Montreal right now. It's covered under at least 1.5 feet of snow, and they just had an ice storm, and that's where we live. So,
Oh, no.
that's what we're getting to avoid right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here. I know you guys played last night at Boulder. How was that?
Oh, it was great. It was the Fox Theater,
Yeah.
which is a gorgeous sounding room. So it makes a difference when you know that the room sounds really good.
Mhm.
And the Boulder audience is always a really like lively
Mhm.
kind of dancing audience. So
Yeah.
it was good.
That's fantastic. Well, is this you guys' first time here in Denver?
No. We started coming here probably in 98.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. With our old band, which is called The Slip. So we toured with that band, which was a trio, till pretty steadily till about 2007.
Yeah.
So for about 10 years, we were doing that. And when we came to Denver a lot, we played, I think we definitely played this venue a few times. With The Slip.
Fantastic.
You know, never to more than like a couple hundred people at the
Yeah.
most, I think. But always really great. And I remember one time our friend did a naked pirouette on the front of came from one side of the stage to the other doing a naked pirouette. That's like my sort of most clear memory of playing in Denver. Our then roadie decided to surprise us.
That's awesome.
So yes, we've been here before, but it's been a while. It was the
Okay.
Barr Brothers.
Awesome. You mentioned The Slip. My boss actually was a huge fan of you guys.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
And I checked out some of you guys' music from back then. I listened to From the Get-Go.
Oh, wow.
And
Our first
then-
record.
Yeah. It was really, I enjoyed it a lot.
Nice.
So I thought it was fantastic. But it really poses the question, like, what made you want to switch from, well, it was almost like a jazz band to, like, jam jazz band to what you're doing right now, like folk and indie and, like, getting in that realm?
It's a great question.
Yeah, well, The Slip, we started The Slip actually in high school.
Mhm.
I think I was 14 when we started that band.
Yeah.
And From the Get-Go we made in 1997. I think I was 18 years old. And our way of studying music at the time was really studying jazz. That's what we thought was kind of the way in. It was the most interesting thing to us. We found it.
Yeah.
Improvising, musically, having a sense of the jazz idiom was really like a way to express a lot on your instrument. I played drums, he plays guitar, and so we were really interested in instrumental music at the time, and taking
records.
it as far as we could.
Records like Herbie Hancock, Headhunters, and Miles Davis, In a Silent Way, and these kind of records that weren't so. We loved playing straight ahead, but we also really gravitated to this music that was kind of funky, abstract, pushed all kinds of limits,
But also always loved like classic songwriting, like Joni Mitchell and Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
And we moved to Montreal about a decade later, and The Slip, we felt like it had kind of run its course. We had started in high school, like I said, and I think as a musician, you just kind of know when there's a time to try something new. And we were going through a lot. I think Brad had just ended a long-term relationship, and I had just begun a new relationship. We'd moved to a new city, and it felt like there was just things to express that were coming out more lyrically. And Brad started writing a lot, especially in the absence of that band, which, a band can really identify who you think you are.
Yeah.
And it was hard to stop that project. And when we did, we felt a little bit like vacant, who are we?
Yeah.
And I think Brad started really finding his voice as a songwriter and writing some beautiful songs that were really lyric based.
it was a testament. There was a lot of fear around kind of letting go of The Slip for whatever it had become to us and whatever it meant to us. Like Andrew said, a lot of identity wrapped up in that. A lot of fear around moving away from it, but it like you said, it created a sort of vacuum where all this other stuff could come in. And so that the transition from a kind of jazz jam thing into what the Barr brothers would be known as kind of indie folk, it certainly wasn't a conscientious decision like it's time to change styles.
Yeah.
It was like this is the music that's arriving now. This is what's interesting to us. And really, and we bring along all that history with us too into this format and this context. Like there's a lot of improvisation in this band. I think all the all the years spent improvising and learning those different styles of music, learning how to play bebop changes and learning classical music set us up for, or just having a great language and a really great sort of bedrock from which to build what we would consider the most sort of interesting music in these sort of simpler formats.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Wow. Well, that also brings up another good question. What's comparatively to your first album, The Barr Brothers, and then your latest album, Let It Hiss, the tone of this of the sound is very different. How would you describe your growth comparatively to writing that album to how you written and released your newest album?
Well, I think that first Barr Brothers record really was an exploration of acoustic songwriting
and acoustic instrumentation to really what do these it was mostly upright bass, harp, pump organ, quiet percussion, and singing, and we were really trying to get a balanced acoustic sound where you could put one mic up and capture these acoustic instruments, and that takes a dynamic range that's pretty vast. Like you have to be able to play really quietly and sensitively, which the Slip didn't always do. The Slip was a little more reckless sonically and loud, and a lot of electric amplifiers and big drums. And so I think we were also desiring a kind of quietude in the music. So the songwriting kind of, in a lot of ways, came from the exploration of the instruments themselves and the volume that we were choosing to play at.
We had made friends with a band called the Low Anthem, who were from our hometown, Providence, Rhode Island. And they were a big inspiration on us as far as volume goes at the time. Another good friend of mine, Nathan Moore from Virginia, I learned a lot from him just in terms of what a song can do if you're really, really deliberate with the language, the amount of weight it could carry. And so it was also a response, the Slip didn't really, lyrics weren't a priority for the Slip for a long time. That record was an exploration of the volume, that space, and the lyrics, a lot about the lyrics. And with Let It Hiss, I think Andrew and I allowed ourselves to return to a lot of the roots of the kind of playing that originally inspired us to make music together, which is really just kind of going at it as a duo in a room and seeing what was the most fun thing to play. I think we allowed all the years and all the history and all the sort of iterations of what we did to come out. Whereas maybe previous records, we felt like we were working within a particular context, like you said, with the acoustic instruments. This one, we just let everything come to the surface.
You let it hiss.
We let it hiss. That was that ethos trickled into the whole thing, and it gave us a real freedom to not care what anyone thought about this record, knowing that some Barr Brothers fans were gonna not like it because it was not as, not that kind of chill, whatever they came to expect of the Barr Brothers as an acoustic folk band. We're not just that, and I think we really let our whole sort of relationship with music over the years spill onto this record.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Wow. I want to ask, I am I'm just an aspiring musician. I'm a drummer in a grunge band here in Denver called Sonefs. I'm trying to write my own acoustic stuff. So listening to you guys' first album especially was really inspiring because that's the direction I personally want to go to. But like, as a musician, did you guys ever find like moments of failure where it really like almost made you stop? Were there moments of failure where you like pushed you to continue your career? And like, what were they like? How did it feel? And how do you look back at them
Oh
now?
man, I think the worst I've ever felt is when I bent my personal, like when I had a feeling of we should take the music this way to appeal to somebody other than ourselves.
Mhm.
And that can be really heartbreaking if you make that decision. I think very rarely have we made that decision, but there's been times where and I'm just speaking for myself, where I've thought, you know what, I think actually it would be more appealing to people if the song sounded like this.
Mhm.
Bending it that way, and then it doesn't do what you think it did, and then you realize, you know what, I wish I hadn't made that decision to try to appeal to somebody else.
Yeah.
I think if you can really I think I heard Björk say the other day that if you can just make music for yourself, you have a chance of reaching a ton of people. But if you try to make music for any one other person, the chances are it will probably fail across the board. You know, and I think the worst I've felt is when I tried to bend it to what I thought somebody else might like.
Yeah.
And it failed, and it's almost like this embarrassment of, you know, of trying to appeal to somebody other than myself.
Yeah.
That's been my biggest feeling of failure.
Yeah.
Because we fail every night, all the time. I mean, you know,
I
on
was
stage,
just gonna say,
we're flopping around half the time, but in an attempt to, you know, blow each other's minds or play something that we haven't played before, and that kind of failure, I'll take for days. I'm happy with that.
I should be clear that after this interview, I could walk on stage and play the show and feel like a total failure. Like that possibility is there. And for a lot of years, that was the roller coaster of music for me. It was like the triumph, failure. Like, you're great, you're terrible. Like, you've no business writing music. You've just written the best song. Like, it's a real ride, especially for sensitive people. And it takes a certain kind of sensitive person to get into this in the first place at all. So you're naturally sort of, you know, you have predisposition to ride that roller coaster. And what I can say is like kind of what Andrew was just saying, the focus it takes to keep like just positive thoughts in the head, like knowing that there, like you said, there is no such thing as failure if you're learning along the way. It's only our ideas about the success and failures in music business, the sort of conditioning of our culture that would make us think we haven't this idea of success or failure at all.
Yeah.
So like keeping perspective on that, treating every failure as a learning experience, almost being grateful for it is very hard to do, but I've had to do that when at my worst, feeling like I just did the worst, like, well, thank you for giving me this challenge to overcome, because I'm going to be stronger on the other side of it when I do. And also, you never know what we think is a failure. You might have inspired someone out there in the audience to like go do their best work. So yeah, my perspective on success and failure is almost completely unimportant.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. I guess on the opposite side of the spectrum, what was the moment that made you think this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
It must have been pretty early on, because we've been doing this together.
I think it's the connection that you feel in a room full of people. And like, we used to play a place called the Teen Cafe when we were like, 13, 14, maybe even younger. And it was just a bunch of our friends in a room, and we'd set up and play, and they'd dance and they'd be free. And you know, I think that feeling of connection through music was just, it was it. That was the feeling that we wanted to chase, and we've been chasing the rest of our lives. And then, of course, you know, there's the opposite side of that, where you're alone and, you know, introspective and finding something in yourself and you know, finding, oh my God, that like I just expressed something that I didn't even know I needed to express. And that's as seductive as then going out and connecting with people. So I think the moment was probably in a room full of friends, just, you know.
Yeah, or strangers actually. Maybe like seeing a room full of strangers actually get off on the music. People I don't know could have been one of
Yeah.
the first times where I was like, oh, this works. This feels like magic. It would have been pretty early on, like in high school, early high school.
We didn't have, you know, like, I mean, I guess we had a Tascam, but recording was not what it is today, you know, back in 1989 or whatever, you know? So it was really about like finding places to play all the time, which is the same with grunge, you know, being in a grunge band. I'm sure it's for you, it's about the live performance and, but for us, it was about where can we play next, you know, where can we play next and chasing that. And so by the time we were 18, we just bought a van and started touring.
Awesome.
You know, we just left home and never really stopped until COVID, to be honest.
Awesome.
And that was before internet, so we would make up postcards and like mailing list things, and you know, we had like a few hundred names on our mailing list. We'd mail out these things. We'd like do it at Kinko's, you know, like with photocopy machines, and make these little things up, stickers of people's names on, mail them out. You know, I think like we'd play a little further and a little further each time. Like, you know, Pittsburgh, I remember, was like the big leap, you know, and getting names and just staying in touch, mailing back out. And 3 or 4 times a year, we would just do that and just going further and further. And it's much easier to reach people now, but maybe harder to like kind of find real fans. I don't know. I mean, I still feel like an up and coming band. Not, you know, we're still like, I'm amazed you guys are here, like to talk about it.
Awesome.
I hope I always feel that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like the difference between back then and now in the music industry, would you say was like the connection? Or what would you say was the biggest difference between when you first started out to how you're playing right now? The music scene, the music industry, and everything like that.
It's actually, my honest answer, it's actually not that different for me. Like, it's still the same feeling. It's still the same, somewhere between delusion and an absolute clarity that inspires me to get up there every night and do it. The music industry, fortunately, I think if I spent too much time thinking about it and paying attention to it, I think it could get depressing. And so I have to ride that line between like minding our business, tending our affairs, and not getting too wrapped up in it. You know, we've been really fortunate to have good people on the end of on that end of things that can help us look after stuff. You know, it is a really nice thing to get that kind of help, because it can be infuriating, frustrating, and very difficult to not. Okay.
There you go.
Awesome.
Is that your band? Yeah.
No, that's not us. Not yet.
But I think people are still looking for the same thing today that they were 20 years ago when we started. They're looking for something authentic, something real, something fresh, and they're looking for a human to be telling their story. And I think that has not changed in thousands of years. And, you know, AI is going to produce a lot of music that's going to be in the ether that we're all going to hear. But ultimately, I still think that anybody that takes the time to hone the craft of playing music in whatever way, shape, or form, whether it's DJing or, you know, or playing a guitar or a piano, I think anybody that takes the time to hone the craft and find something that they have to say will be able to always have a format to express it in a platform.
Awesome. I guess we'll end it up with this last question. What advice would you give to young musicians trying to get out there and trying to build something with their art?
I would say to always study whatever music you're into. Always go a generation back, or two or three, to see where those. Always try and go to the source of the thing. You know, if you're into hip hop, go check out jazz, and check out Delta blues music. Just to hear those voices that are still there, in the music that you're loving, that's current today. I think it just gives such a good. Music. We're also like students of history as musicians. I think that's how I see it, and I'm always really drawn to those musicians that seem to have done that kind of work as well. You could probably have a career and not do that, but I just think it, as far as the whole person, the whole musician, I think it really lends to just a more holistic kind of musician and human.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. And I have not much to add to that, but just be yourself. I mean, that's a cliche, but it's also like the only thing that saves me most nights is the feeling like everybody on stage, or our harpist, our bass player, Brad, me, that we were all just able to be ourselves and try to put yourselves in environments with other people where they're allowing you to express. It's cool to be with somebody that has an idea and help them fulfill their idea. You have to also know how to not be stubborn and know when, this person, it's their song, I'm going to do exactly as they say. Yeah. And then, but also you have to, take it for yourself too, and have your own voice, and just be yourself, and don't be, afraid to express whatever you think maybe is too, you're too shy to say, or you have an idea that you're worried isn't going to, catch with the current trends. Like, just go for it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And one last thing. Music, for the last 100 years, music has become a commodity, and it's something that we, the value of it seems to be on how successful it has become, how many streams, how many likes that artist has, how much money they make, how many people are coming to their concerts. It's a commodity. But like musicians, like we also have a role as healers out there. Like, we have a role as to bring some relief to people, in whatever their day was like, whether however much suffering or how much joy they experienced in their day. We have a role to, like, be as compassionate as we can to try and connect to people. Yeah. And not until I really understood that better in my life did I start to feel very free of a lot of the weight of just the stress of trying to make it as a musician. It's like, my job is to bring relief and to bring joy and bring compassion to this world. Yeah. And dig as deep as I can to be able to bring that forth. So with that going forward, there is no failing, if that's our job.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you guys again. This was Get Loud Radio Lounge with Youth on Record. Thank you guys.
Yeah.